Hello, I'm Jonasz Rowiński, and this is Military Mind. Armed conflicts, defense and security, land, sea and air. We've got you covered. The western and northern parts of Vovchansk in Ukraine's Kharkiv region have supposedly fallen under the control of Russian forces. The Ukrainian military, however, is saying the situation in the town is under control, but Kiev's forces had to withdraw to new positions near the village of Lukyantsy due to heavy Russian strikes. The embattled town of Vovchansk in northeast Ukraine is seeing intense fighting between Ukraine and Russia. The town, whose pre-war population of 17,000 had dwindled to just 2,500 before Russia renewed its ground assault last week, has emerged as a key focus point for Russia. In response, Ukraine has launched an air attack on Belgorod city in Russia. Moscow is saying that it's downed 25 incoming Ukrainian missiles, but the extent of damage to houses and infrastructure in the city remains extensive. Now, let's move on to the Middle East. Palestinian armed groups claim to have launched 33 attacks against Israeli forces in Jabalia, in the northern Gaza Strip, which would be the highest number of attacks in a single day by Palestinian fighters in all of 2024. Israeli forces, meanwhile, have raided a Hamas ammunition depot in Zaytun, in the central part of the Strip. Down south, IDF continues clearing operations in Rafah. Now, stalked by a Ukrainian FPV, Russian invaders tried to take the drone out using a bottle of gasoline, but their plan went awry. Either their aim was off, or they simply underestimated Ukrainian tech. Whatever happened, the drone's still out and about and operating away. The Russians better step up their game if they want to keep up with the Ukrainians' tech-savvy tactics. Now, the Haron unit from the 14th Separate Mechanized Brigade scored some Russian gear using their trusty FPV drones. By the way, Haron, that's a mythological reference. Chiron, the river Styx, you understand this, right? Now, these UAVs are really proving to be one of the biggest game changers on the battlefield, often helping Ukrainians to get an edge over the Russians and their numbers, leading them across the river Styx against their will. It's another win for Kiev's forces as they continue to push back against Russian aggression. Now, in a recent clash on the outskirts of Vovchansk, troops from the Russian Volunteer Corps fighting on Ukraine's side against Putin clashed with Moscow's loyalist forces. Reports suggest that the Russians are attempting to establish a foothold in the area near the local meat processing plant. The situation is tense, as both sides are struggling for control of strategic positions.
Погнали, работайте, работайте! Давай! Погнали!
Of course, the Kremlin would like to downplay the presence of this volunteer corps, probably calling them rebels or guerrilla fighters. Look, they have an APC, they've got proper weapons, and they can pose a serious threat there. So, if I was a Kremlin propagandist, I wouldn't write them off, quite the contrary. Now, we've got some intense footage of a close-quarters battle along the border of the Kharkiv region between Ukrainian border guards and a Russian Special Forces reconnaissance unit. Thanks to the enemy unit being detected early, the Ukrainians managed to dodge a bullet and come out alive from what might have been a deadly ambush. What a stark reminder of the dangers lurking on the front lines.
Хто тут? У нас пуста. Да Ваня, заряжай патрон. На.
Now, calling this kind of first-person footage something that's like out of a video game has become a bit cliched at this point. However, if it was a video game, Ukrainians would be earning their MVP badge, while the Russians, well, they would have probably rage quit by this point. And with this, we're ending this edition of Military Mind. Please stay with us here on TVP World for more latest news and updates. I'm Jan Bye for now.